Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. No one likes liars and cowards. I think we are all cowards to a certain extent, and we are all liars to a certain extent. Because we lied in the past, we might lie in the future. We were, cowards in the past, we might be cowards in the future. I don't know about you, if you were always courageous, that's fantastic, but sometimes we were afraid of doing certain things and we didn't do it. I'm guilty of that as well. But, there's degrees of courage. Now, what's going on over here? I don't like people who lie or are cowards, but they want to be perceived as courageous and, truth-telling individuals or persons. And this is exactly what happens in the mass media in the West. I've been covering the coverage of the Ukraine war between NATO and Russia since it started on the 24th of February 2022. So I saw every day, a few times a day, how the Western mass media was portraying the war in Ukraine, which is Ukrainians are winning, the Russians are losing, and then the Russians somehow had a lot of losses in military terms, personnel, but the Ukrainians did not. Now, that's what they said. They said this about, a few months ago, and then things changed, even though it was not so. The Russians were having casualties, the Ukrainians were having casualties, major, but they were not saying anything about it. They would say, no, only the Russians. Okay, we were only the Russians. And now I think the truth could not be hidden anymore, and they tried to join and say, well, actually, the counteroffensive is unsuccessful. The US intelligence said a few days ago, I made a video on that one. Washington Post came up with an article today, and I covered it in a video before this one. The US intelligence thinks the counteroffensive is going to be a failure. Well, we knew that, but these guys, now they come and report on that. I said that about, I don't know, at least 10 days that Ukrainian counteroffensive is dead, is over. They needed 10 days to tell us that they might not successfully reach all their blah, blah, blah. Anyway, there are many examples like this. And now they come and say that actually the Ukrainians' casualties in their counteroffensive are major. So they lost too many people. Well, we knew that, but you didn't report that before. Now you reported it. So what's going on? I think the mass media comes now in the West and tries to tell us that, hey, we were telling the truth all the time. No, you didn't. Now you joined the band when the cat is out of the bag, to speak like that. And I saw this, and maybe you saw it as well in your life, with your friends, acquaintances, co-workers, with the COVID. Remember the COVID restrictions and the masks work and this, take that and do that, remember? And they now say, I never say that. No, I was never for us guys to be rounded up and put in concentration camps to keep us away from the good people, because you endanger us. If you don't do that, you endanger us. It's a common good, You know exactly who those guys are, and I know them. And right now they changed the tune like you forgot. No, I never said that. No, it was not quite. It was exactly like that. Exactly like that. So you know them, I know them. And I tell them, I call them out. No, you said that. You're a weasel. If they would have allowed you, you would have put me in a concentration camp right there. No, I wouldn't. Yes, you would. By your statements. By your statements. Anyway, I'm not going to go too much in that. What I'm trying to say is these people now they join because they don't want to be in the wrong. But you are in the wrong. And that's where courage comes in the play. Say, yeah, man, I was wrong. I was wrong and I'm sorry. I will try next time to be more, or to be wiser. I don't even know. Or a little bit more, if I don't know something, shut the fuck up. Okay? Don't pretend you know. All right, so let's move on to this article here. Ukraine taking heavy casualties 10 weeks into its counteroffensive. Finally, these guys are telling us, ABC News. You would not see this from the ABC News prior to what? A month ago, maybe? Not even? What changed? Ukraine taking heavy casualties. All you heard was that the Russians were losing and taking casualties. There is mounting evidence, it's been before too, but you choose to ignore it, that Ukraine has been taking heavy casualties in its counteroffensive, which began roughly 10 weeks ago. I've said this many times, but hey, ABC News spoke with 2 former US soldiers who are contracted in a Special Forces division of the Ukrainian military and were both injured during an operation in eastern Ukraine 2 weeks ago. So yeah, these guys, yeah, they were just contracted, they were not US military, no. So one of the men, a former US soldier from Texas who goes by the call sign Tango, why not Walls, said his unit of dozens of men took 85% casualties and that 2 of their comrades were killed when the team was ambushed whilst advancing into Russian-occupied territory. 40% of the unit was so badly injured they were rendered combat ineffective, he said. They will not tell you here numbers, okay? They will not tell you. It says here, the other US Army veteran who goes by the call sign Goldfish, why not Shark, said it was immediately apparent they were up against very organized resistance from Russian troops. Oh, so they were not drunk and rowdy and their weapons were rusty? And I'm quoting, it was definitely a very professional force that we were fighting against. You haven't heard this before, the US Army veteran from Alaska said. You hear this? You would never hear these things, these statements from ABC reported before I'm doing it right now. I guarantee you, you will not. You would hear the Russians saying about themselves, or the Ukrainians by themselves, and looking at the Russians as being losers and all that. Now they come over, it's like they join the, gonna tell the truth now, the truth is in the air, we're gonna be caught with a lie. Yes, you lied. You lied and you covered for that side, your side. Well, as news, you shouldn't be, covering for a side. You should be covering for the truth. So here it is, very well organized and heavy casualties. It was obvious, it was normal when you attack. What are you talking about? It's not like the laws of nature is reversed for you or something. Well, that's exactly what these guys try to make us believe. Why? Because when you have a society that really ingests whatever garbage and is not really, how do I put it, I don't want to say educated, because what society is, what, Germany? And Germany elected those guys, remember, in the 30s. I don't know, my friends, it's just it's something extra, because you can have the information, but if you don't put it together to reach a conclusion because of faulty, how should I put it, ways of processing information, analyzing the information, you're gonna reach the wrong conclusions, the wrong being not real. It's just, that's based on your ideology, based on your subjectivism, based on, I don't know, wishful thinking, dislikes, not dislikes, subjectivism, as I said, and, you're gonna ignore evidence, facts, just because you don't like them. And then you put them together, you analyze only the information you like, and then you reach the wrong conclusion. It's not the case with ABC, NBC, CNN, BBC, all the Reuters, Agence France Presse, Associated Press. No, all these guys told us for a year and a half, more than a year and a half, that this is the picture you guys have to ingest. And I was, no, that's not what it is, because it was not. It was first almost impossible. It's like they were telling me that if I drop these ones, they're gonna go left. They're not gonna go down. Well, no. Even if I didn't drop it yet, I know they go down. So when you attack, you're gonna have more losses than the defending army. That's a fact. Unless the defending army is so weak and you're so strong, then the casualties are, balanced to a certain extent. But they had almost the same kind of weapons. I'm talking about the quality. So attacking is harder than defending. So now when the Ukrainians are attacking and the Russians are defending, what did you expect? They created all this image of the Russians, as I said, being drunk, backward, their military equipment sucks, it's just a rusty bunch of nothingness. And it's not like, it can't be like that. I mean, that means those guys are just different. And then Tell this to these guys right here with their political correctness. Say, hey, that group is different. Why would the Russians be different, but these guys would not be different? No, we're all the same. No, you can't do that. Anyway, my friends, Russia just sent a mission to the moon. They're right now mapping the moon. They go around the moon. They're on the orbit. Yeah, I know if you know, it's Luna 24 or Luna 25. It's gonna go over there and gonna have according to the Russians, attempt a soft landing on the moon. Okay, isn't that fantastic? How do you think they achieved that? Stealing from the Americans, because the Americans know. I mean, this is, and if you speak with a lot of people here, that's exactly what they think. They stole everything from us. All right, what about the paperclip operation? Do you know what that was? Look at other guys. Look at Fermi, and not only Fermi. It's well known that without certain scientists from the Europe, the Americans invented nuclear weapons just like this. You take Einstein, which was not, was part, but not, he was outside of all that. You take Oppenheimer, okay, yeah, Oppenheimer. No, it's like, oh, we did everything. We did. No, you didn't. You put your hands on whomever you could after Germany collapsed, after the Second World War. You got 80% of these guys, and the Russians got about 20% leftovers of the scientists, the German scientists. That's what it was. And still, they beat these guys to the orbit, right? With Sputnik, with Leica, with Gagarin. What are you talking about? Oh, we got the moon. Be careful with that one. All right? That's all I got to say about that subject. Anyway, my friends, here it is. Finally, these guys are joining us, and they're going to take over. That's what they do. They come over, and Red Rover, and because they're bigger than me and everybody else around, they're going to take over and say, now they're going to tell the truth. No, they're not going to tell the truth. They're like the wind. If the wind blows this way, they go this way, and so on. Now, that's not a news agency. That's a propaganda agency. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.